Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar, How to Plan and Model Your Organisation Like a Pro using Planning at Work version 12. So this webinar today is focused on the latest release of Planning at Work, which came out at the end of June, so been out for about a month now. And the last release before that was in 2014, so it's a pretty big deal when a release does come out. So as Planning at Work's a cloud solution, all of the users that are using Planning at Work at the moment have automatically been upgraded for free. So we thought this was a good opportunity to show you what's included and some of the cool things that you can do. So just a bit of housekeeping to start off with. If you want to ask questions, feel free to do so. You just have to click on the Q&A panel, which is down the bottom of your screen, and you can type them in there. We'll either answer them during the webinar, just via text, or we can answer them at the end because we've got a bit of time for that set aside. So presenting today, we have Grant Cumming, who's our Customer Success Manager here at Navigo. He's also our org charting specialist, so he's the one who deals with Planning at Work and Org Plus and all of our customers using those products. My name is Ben Plant, I'm the Marketing Manager here at Navigo, so I'm just helping out for running the webinar. So I'll pass you over to Grant.
All right, hello everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar today. So what I thought we'd do just to kick off is really just to go through the solutions that we work with here at Navigo, and just to make sure that you're clear on the differences between each product. So first of all, we'll start with the desktop product. So Org Plus Desktop is a solution to create org charts automatically from a data source, as long as that data source has a reporting structure. So you can create basic workforce analytics views from the metrics stored in your data source and apply conditional formatting and calculated formulas to these metrics. Once you've done that, you can then share via PDF, PowerPoint, Excel, or you can also save to an Org Plus format and utilize the Org Plus free viewer to share those files around the organization. Okay, so the next tool is Org Plus Enterprise. So Org Plus Enterprise has all the functionality of Org Plus, but is an unlimited user license, whereas Org Plus Desktop is licensed per desktop or per user. So with this in mind, the fact that you can roll Org Plus Enterprise out right across the organization and give everyone across your organization access to live org charts, an administration area is included to enable you to utilize role-based security to make sure everyone across the organization has on-demand access to the correct information for the correct area of the organization. You also have the option to add modules to visualize and manage your succession plans and your organizational restructure plans. So Org Plus Enterprise is no longer available for sale to new customers, and functionality in Org Plus Enterprise is currently not being developed. So any new releases for Org Plus Enterprise, for anyone out there that's using Org Plus Enterprise, will be based on compatibility with the latest server, database, and operating system offerings. And lastly, that brings us to Planning at Work. So Planning at Work has, for new customers anyway, has effectively completely replaced Org Plus Enterprise. So the key difference between the two is the fact that Org Plus Enterprise was an on-premise solution, whereas Planning at Work is a cloud-based software as a service solution. So Planning at Work does have all the functionality of Org Plus Enterprise and more. It offers a much more modern, easy-to-use user interface, with new functionality being added in each new release. So, which is the whole point of the webinar today, is to show off some of those new features in Planning at Work version 12. But first of all, what we thought we'd do is run a quick poll just to see what org charting tool you're currently using.
Okay, so we've got a couple of options for you here. I'm just going to bring up the poll now. So if you can just let us know what you're using at the moment, so whether it is Planning at Work, Org Plus, maybe using Visio and PowerPoint if you're doing it more manually, or if you're not using an org charting tool. So we'll just launch that one now. Alright, so just give you a couple of seconds just for everyone to put it in. Getting a bit of a mix of users here. Alright, I think we got pretty much everyone. So here's our results. Interesting, lots of you aren't actually using org charting tools at the moment, and we don't actually have any planning at work users in the crowd today. So glad that you're all keen to hear about the new features so we can show you a little bit of what's included. Sharing those results with you now. Alright, and back to you, Grant.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for participating in that poll. We were actually expecting more people to be using Visio and PowerPoint, so it's interesting that a lot of our users, our attendees today, are not using any solution at all. So hopefully we can convince you to change that with some of the new features that we're going to show you today. All right, so what I thought I'd do is I'd start off with some of the front-end changes. So these are changes that will affect the user as opposed to the administrator in the back end of planning at work. So first of all, the first function I would like to show is print your Linebox. So this is obviously a new feature. So if you have the succession planning module for planning at work, you are able to utilize the Linebox grid to quickly identify top talent across your organization. So this actually requires you to set up a talent management view in the base planning at work license to capture performance and potential information, and you can show these metrics on an org chart. So previously, a user could only invoke Linebox, make some settings, and plot the members in the grid, but could not print the results. So now there is an option to either print the Linebox on one page, or as opposed to where the box is divided in multiple pages. So there is now a print icon on the Linebox itself. Once you've clicked on this icon, you will then be prompted to choose how you want to print your Linebox. So just be aware that the number of pages will vary based on the paper size mentioned or selected in the print settings. So the next feature is rollback your bulk edit changes. So this feature is specific to the plan and model module, which is the other optional module available for planning at work, and is specifically for restructure planning. So what the bulk editor allows you to do is it allows you to change multiple fields in multiple boxes. So when a user used to do bulk editing to the boxes in a chart, the fields used to show new values, but then there was no way to roll back the action because on closing the bulk editor pop-up, the new value has already been assigned to the fields. Hence, the new buttons Save and Cancel are introduced to every bulk editor pop-up that lets you save changes made to any of the fields or cancel the action if not required. If you have made any changes to the fields but accidentally click the Close button on the bulk editor pop-up, the warning pop-up message opens that asks you whether you want to save those changes or not. So this can be very handy, especially when you are dealing with a major restructure and have made a small area that could affect all 25 new positions that you have just created in your plan. The next one is display all or none of the fields in a chart with one click. So this functionality is available in the base license of planning at work. So a box in a chart includes information associated to the person, like first name, last name, photo, salary, and so on. But there could be a possibility where the user does not want to show certain information like date of birth, employee salary, and other such personal information to other users. So in this case, a user and an administrator has the ability to display all, none, or some of the fields by selecting and clearing fields in the Fields panel. Click the All button on the Fields panel to show all the fields associated with the person, or click the None button to hide all the fields. The user and administrator can also show limited fields by selecting or clearing the required fields. So let's have a look to see what this looks like. So in this scenario, we have a user who has a presentation they need to prepare for. They would like to utilise the information available on the establishment chart, but only want to show full name, job title, and the substantive employee's name. So the new all or none buttons make it a lot easier to clear all the fields and then just select the fields that you require. So for any planning at work users that may have came in late today, you actually have this functionality right now. All right, so on to the back-end changes. So the changes that will affect the planning at work administrators out there. So the first one is customize colors with the new user interface. So this functionality is only available in the administration section of Planning at Work for administrators with chart creation access. So the theme pop-up corresponding to the themes drop-down list has now been updated with color code and color palette for gradient top and gradient bottom fields. Also, a new checkbox Show Shadows has been added and lets you add shadow to the box. So please bear in mind that this is just a look and feel function. This will only affect how the data is presented and not the data itself. You may want to utilize this if you want to fine-tune the look and feel of the boxes themselves. So the next function, which is new for the backend or the administrator section of Planning at Work, is export record logs in a spreadsheet. So once again, this functionality is only available for administrators of Planning at Work that have access to the administration area. So prior to this release, whenever a user tries to filter the logs and then export it, the Microsoft Excel file used to display all of the records instead of just the filtered ones. So now administrators can actually filter the records in logs based on their requirements and then export them to Excel. The Excel file will now only include the filtered records. So to do this, go to any tab, filter the records based on your requirements, and then click Export to Excel, and you'll find that only the filtered records are shown in Excel. So in the scenario that we've got on screen, the user wants to filter and export on any employee who is logged onto Planning at Work after midday. This new function gives you a lot more flexibility and control over exported information to make reporting a lot quicker and easier. Also worth noting with this functionality, for larger organisations using Planning at Work, irrespective of the records in the system, the export functionality is now capable to export more than 10,000 records at a time. Alright, so we've saved the most exciting new change till last, and this new change or new function is mini charts. So the administrator now has the ability to evaluate a user based on their performance by using the mini chart functionality. So a mini chart is a graphic representation of the data in the form of a pie chart or a bar chart. The user can use this functionality to quickly show the results instead of running long reports. For example, an HR consultant wants to view the performance rating of the team given by the manager for the year 2015. Hence, instead of running the report, the HR consultant may simply go to the manager's organisation chart and view the ratings given by the manager to his entire team. Due to this new functionality, the organisational results are quickly viewed. So here is another example of a mini chart. So in this scenario, we want to offer full-time equivalent versus headcount and employment type metrics to our C-level staff in a more graphical representation, which will enable an easy to understand visual snapshot of these metrics in a bar-style graph. Mini charts are designed to be very quick and easy to set up, especially if you already have the views you want to visualize in mini charts already built in your standard workforce analytical views. Alright, so thanks very much again for attending. That's all we have for you today, but please feel free to contact us if you would like further information regarding what we have covered today. Even if you are new to org charting solutions, which by the sounds of it most of our attendees today are, or even if you are an existing user of a solution but would like to expand your existing functionality. So what I'll do now is I'll hand it back to Ben, and we'll cover off on some questions that you may have. So I'll hand it back to Ben.
Okay, so if you do have any questions, you can just type them into the Q&A panel down the bottom of the screen. We've had a couple come in already. So first one here, is there a limit to what fields can be represented in mini charts?
Okay, thank you for that. So the only limit, so the first of all, you are limited by what fields you are actually importing into Planning at Work from your source of truth. That's the first limitation. The second limitation is that really if you are going to be creating either a bar graph or a pie graph, then you really want those fields to be numerical based.
Okay, one more question. Is the 9 box available in the base version of Planning at Work, so if you don't have the other modules?
No, the answer to that is no. So the 9 box is only available in if you have the succession planning module for Planning at Work. So really the whole point of the 9 box is to be able to quickly find your top talent across the organisation, and that obviously links into your succession plans.
Okay, it looks like it's all the questions we've had for today. So as Grant mentioned, we're just showing you some of the new features for today. So what you probably want to be doing if you want to see how Planning at Work works is to get in touch with us, and we can set up a one-on-one demo, or we can show you, whichever sort of functions you want to see, whether it's succession planning or restructures or just visualizing and modeling. Just one quick question that's come in from Wendy. Are open APIs and web services available for Planning at Work? So
I might come back to you on that, Wendy, if that's okay. I should have your details there, so I'll send you an email later on this afternoon, and we can talk offline in that regard, just to find out. Just want to get a little bit of a clearer picture as to what you're asking there.
Okay, well thanks everyone for attending today, and thank you Grant for presenting. If you do have any questions, feel free to get in touch, and we'll send you a link to the recording of this webinar probably tomorrow at about midday. Thanks, Grant.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone, and look forward to seeing you all again on the next webinar. Thanks again.